I want us to review so many tabs. Actually, these are windows. I want us to review what we did yesterday. And I am going to, so because I told you yesterday I would anonymize, I'm going to warn you now, we're going to look at stuff for the new activity, unanonymized, which means people will be able to see, oh, Quinn asked that question, Micah asked that question. During the activity, I'm going to leave it anonymous, so you don't know who you're going up against. But let's look through here and distinguish, what of these questions are, good questions. So, is asking, is it blue, a decent question? Probably not, because they're all blue. Is your line diagonal? That could be a good question if there's a flat line or a vertical line compared with it. So that's a decent question. Is it on the top half of the board? Board? Let's use math words like graph.
No, I think they literally meant board because they were
Oh, okay.
That doesn't work because it's scrambled forever.
Yeah, that's you can't cheat the game. Does your line go through the origin? Is it on the right side? Is it barely visible? These are good questions. Whoever's Albert Einstein. Is your line mostly right? Is your line straight? So here's the question I have. Have we done polygraph 1 enough that we're comfortable with it, enough to do polygraph 2?
Yes.
Which adds more complexity. So if you are ready for polygraph 2, this is your class code. Yep, a new one. So if you go to student.desmos, open a new tab, go to student.desmos.com, use the new code. 76, quick, 48, Xerox.
I love Xerox.
Which starts with an X, oddly enough. By the way, reminder, your homework from last week is due today. We are in the 3rd quarter, and I am no longer, because I'm trying to peel back the scaffolding, or stop taking so much care of you guys. You know everything we did last week. It's in your plan book. I don't need to put it up on the board for you or whatever. So turn in our work from last week. Turn in any revisions that you have. Get that all in by today. Unfortunately, I work at the Rockwell tonight, but I'm going to try to get some of that stuff taken care of and logged into Mac. I told you guys I'd give you till through today.
But you stopped working.
No, I only work once a week.
Oh, okay.
Everything from last week.
Pick a different name? But that.
No, you can't pick your random name. You need to type in your real name.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, your name needs to be your real name. I then anonymize.
Wait, that was a good name. I saw it. What was it? I'm so confused.
What were you trying to use?
I was going to put
Cookie Monster 101.
I was going to use
I would use Monster 102.
All right, I need to anonymize. So 76Q48X, but I need to close it down a little bit. All right, we are anonymized. I'm going to give you just 20 minutes to work on this. Okay? I actually am probably going to stop the video and mute the screen so you guys can't see people's progress. And then I'll restart the video when we talk about it. Remember, I'm going to show your names with your questions. We want high-quality investigative questions today. Use the vocabulary when you can.
instead of
Ask justdesmos.com.
Start graphing.
Click Start Graphing.
Oh, is this the art thing?
No. Could be, but not right now.
Except
Type in Y equals MX plus B. Below it, it's going to ask you add slider. Click all.
you'll find
whoa, I feel
This is your slope intercept form of a line. Now tomorrow we will write down some technical definitions and vocab and stuff. Now once you type that in, give me your eyes up on the board. What Desmos lets me do is instead of having to delete and try a number, try a number, try a number, try a number, try it. It lets me say, that's going to be m. What happens as my m gets bigger, more positive, versus, hey, give me your eyes up here. What happens as my m gets close to 0 versus what happens when my m gets more negative. And I can play with this and kind of discover this sort of thing. I can also, so if I reset that back to 1, what happens when I change this constant bigger or smaller? So anytime you want to just play with graphing something, you can go to desmos.com and type in any graph you want. Now hold up. Try this then. If I type in y equals 2x and hit enter, and then I type in y equals 3x and hit enter, I can compare the two graphs and look at how they're different from each other. I can also, on the graph, click points and find out where they are by clicking on the line and dragging it. Now I can also then copy the same graph, y equals 3x, but then what happens when I add 2? So when I compare purple to black, well, they're the same slope, so they're parallel, but they have a different point where they hit the axis. Oh, that 2, oh, that's that 2. That's your y-intercept point. Yes.
Whoa! Whoa! Bring like half.
No, I didn't. If you just press the play.
Yeah.
You press the play button.
Yeah, your slope is too steep. You're not moving slope. Yeah, because you can zoom in infinitely on that. Yep. So what Connor's pointing out is if you make dramatic slopes, it looks like it's on the line, but as we zoom in, we can see that it's not. So if I made a really dramatic slope like 999, it looks almost like it is the y-axis, but it's not, because in Desmos, you can zoom in infinitely. So did I show you guys that Powers of 10 video where they zoom out and they zoom into a dude's skin? You can essentially do that here.
Well, I can only zoom into like 0.404.
Well, okay, maybe not infinitely, but pretty darn close.
No, you keep going. It is like it looks right on the line. If you zoom out.
And then when you zoom out, my parallel lines seem to stack on top of each other. Right, that purple and black. It's only when I zoom in close enough. So be careful. This reinforces that whole don't always trust what things look like. This looks like there's only one diagonal line. There's really 3. All right, so that's Desmos. Excuse me, thank you.
I feel like I'm Hey, you can get it on the line.
So, tomorrow, and in the next few minutes, like we got 5 minutes, but you want to get your Chromebook put away soon. Tomorrow's lesson is 722. Check this out. The lesson walks through it, and we're going to go really fast through this. Or maybe it's not in 722. There is a math notes box all about this. It might be in 723 because CPM does that whole discovery learning, and they slowly intro it to you guys. If you are looking for help on like understanding, the book has it. Like you have resources for this. Yeah, that gets into interest and everything else. So that's where we're headed this week. But tomorrow we'll review everything you learned from today really quickly. I guess I'll give you one. Yeah, I kind of want to go ahead and tell you this. So a couple of you asked me as you were working through Desmos, how can I find out what the slope is? And you don't have to write this down because I know most of you don't have graph paper out, so I didn't ask you to. Slope, we in mathematics call M. Don't know why. Actually, I do. There's a couple different reasons. It is when you pick 2 points on your line. Yeah, you've done this in science. Slope is just, the rise over, the run. The rise is vertical change between the points. The run horizontal change between the points. So between those 2 points, it shows a vertical change of 4, horizontal change of 6. That means your slope is 4 over 6. Done. There, the y-intercept is whatever point that is. Looks like it might be 7? 2, 4, 6, yeah, probably 7. So the equation of this orange line becomes y equals 4/6 x plus 7. That's how we determine the equation of a line. We got about a minute left, so we need to go ahead and put our Chromebooks away, please. And that is all we're going to do today.
Oh,